Okay, so I think I've heard of Nine Souls like some time ago, but never really paid attention to it. It never really was on my radar until I saw like it constantly. Basically, and when I was bored a few times, like maybe like 1 o'clock in the morning, some random nonsense like that, I would just be watching a top 20, top 10 lists stuff like that of random nonsense, and sometimes the game stuff came up, and a few times, quite a few times there'll be a top 10, top 20 hardest bosses in the 2020s or in recent gaming memory and all that. And then consistently, both the final boss of Nine Souls and First Berserker Design kept popping up consistently. Like it was actually kind of crazy how often that happened. They were always in the top three. Most time it was Nine Souls. So I was already like, oh, I think I've heard that game, but I didn't know it went that hard. And I was like, okay, I'm not gonna play this. I'm not really a metroidvania guy. I've played Hollow Knight, Silk Song, but that's pretty much it. And I kind of stay away from genre and everything. And I've seen about 3 different people play it. Oh man, I remember the final boss. I've never actually paid attention to what they were playing. All I know is I just like saw like in and out, like back and forth. I would just like know something off like this corner of my eye and all that kind of thing. But the final boss, I remember the background of the final boss, like for hours on end for so many people, and I'm just like, they were going for 6 hours, multiple streams, and I'm just like, no, to play this game, no. It was just like it was. I'm not just not gonna do it. And then a friend gifted it to me for Christmas. Like, fuck. But honestly, I really loved it. So that surprised the hell out of me. So this game is described as taopunk. I remember like a few trailers and I think the Steam description and all that kind of stuff. Like what they could describe as Taoist beliefs with a mix of cyberpunk, and yeah, I believe it blends sci-fi and religion with the cultural aspects in a way that does work very well. It isn't just for show because the blending is also just in the story itself. Like there's a lot of clash beliefs on the code, like technology, like what you're doing to all these people, and actually just sticking with staying away from science like that. But that's a whole other thing. I'll get that's part of the story, so I won't get into it too much. Um, and characters do wear traditional like Taoist garbs, the stuff that you would like expect from like something from Taiwan. And I did like that this is like a fresh take for me, but like that could just be because it's me because like I've experienced Egyptian, Greek, Norse, like all those cultures and mythologies so much that that's kind of normal to me now. So this like it just could be because it's a foreign entity to me. Like I've never experienced it like myself. I just in passing know some things. So maybe that could be why it's just like a novelty to me. I'm not sure. So I'm saying for me personally, it was nice. Maybe somebody was more familiar with that kind of stuff. They like it's bland. I don't really know. I can't say it, like from my experience. And I also have bias of I like a mix of science and like something else. I guess I like the I think there's a purpose behind all the technological advancements and everything, and how they fit in the story and all that, and not just oh this is like just a cold steel everything random like sci-fi nonsense everywhere. I mean like that's cool sometimes, but at the same time like I kind of want to know oh it's like this because at some point they mix these two aspects of like some sort of culture together, kind of like how like for example Fallout is not just normal sci-fi that like at a certain point in time they branched off and then well, yeah, either way not gonna get into that too much, but I like how it was executed, plain and simple. And the combat in this game is simple, but it's all about the execution. So you have a counter. Every counter gives you a key charge. Then every key charge lets you blow up a talisman on enemy, and then that's one of your biggest sources of damage. Like a boss bar will go way down with that, and then of course you have normal melee attacks. So it's just simple as that. But then of course, execution is just how it handles how I think it's like makes everything up and change it all. And of course, there's also a bow that can come in clutch, but it's still optional. So that I'm not really including that into the equation. And honestly, sometimes these enemies just go lightning fast at times. Like it's just like and also, of course, there's the environment as well. Like you could, there's some environments that are just like so small, or there's just there's nothing under you, or there's rocks falling around that area over and over again, and so it's in a way that's always at your disadvantage sometimes. And so there's so many ways that that combat does change just by tweaking factors here or there. And of course, another element of the game is jades. And if you have played Hollow Knight or Silk Song, they are charms. They're not like charms. They are literally charms. They work in the same way. You equip them the same way. They're charms. And so the weird thing about them is like they started so weak. Honestly, like in the beginning they were just like, oh, you can heal like heal nonstop, like you like over time, except if you get hit one time, you stop healing, or you collect money at a wider range, and I'm like, I don't care about this stuff. Then eventually I started getting some like really great ones where they like took away damage and like converted to stuff here or there, or did all sorts of crazy nonsense and everything. And then that got better to the point where I just kept some things on just because I'm like, I can't imagine my life without it now. Like I had to have that certain jade. Oddly enough, best jades were all ones that you find in the world, whether it's from the boss battle or whether you just find it in some sort of random chest or something like that. Those were all the best jades are. There are purchasables, there are jades you can buy, and they either suck or just I did not care for at all. You can buy them and I'm like, okay. And then I just ignored the jades. They're all until the very end of the game because I'd buy them for some other reason. That's neither here nor there. But they just existed. And I mean, that's kind of a good thing because it means I didn't have to just go ahead and spend money on that stuff, but whatever. And so, a lot of people do compare Sekiro to rhythm games, and I kind of understand it. Like it's a clash of back and forth. I kind of understand the exchange, but for me, I never got that feeling from Sekiro. Like maybe maybe it just wasn't like good enough at the parries at the time, or I just never like really felt the like real rhythm behind it, and I never felt a real trade off when I did anything with it. But with this, by the first boss especially, I felt that crap. Like I'll be countering, then attacking, countering, attacking, then eventually it was counter, talisman, and then it was like the beat. I actually felt the beat while with every hit or every block. It just kind of felt like I was making a beat while I was doing that. It was kind of weird because I've never actually experienced that in the game. I mean, I've done trade offs, but it didn't really feel like that kind of back and forth as I did in that game. It really does feel like some sort of like rhythmic like battle. But I don't know if other people feel that way. Maybe they don't. But I felt like that with this one at least. And it was like right from the first boss battle. I remember I was just struggling, and then at some point I could maybe a second or third attempt I just hit it, and I'm just going back and forth, and that's it. So I understand that comparison at least. And once again, maybe people will understand, maybe they won't. But I really saw it, and I think that also is just a way to congratulate people who design the combat because it's kind of hard to give that feeling. not just to me, but in general. Like it's people who find like some people find a combat unfair, or they just don't like they don't like this or that aspect of a combat for a game, and I just think the fact that you're able to just do that does show that they did like put some thought into it, and like the how it works out. So bosses can make or break some games. When it comes to Metrovanias, they are not exactly they are like the bread and butter of it. But I'd say if this game did fail on the bosses, it would definitely be a big hit to everything overall. Now, as far as like there were some bland things, but they were mostly mini bosses, and I'm not really counting them. I think we fought one of them 3 times. I'm not sure what that was all about. But like, it's not important. Sometimes you just fight in different environments or like smaller environments sometimes and all that, and it's just not a big deal. Uh, the main actual Souls bosses and everything, they're what like the game's all about. So of course, I feel like they should have been designed well. The bosses themselves, I guess, in the areas and the battles, they're fine, and then the actual people that you're facing also fine. Especially when it comes to their designs, I think that also is a big factor. Like they all look at they're their own beings, you would say. And I know like so the main character is part of a group called Sumerians. So I was actually kind of confused when I saw the second boss I fought had wings. And I'm like, okay, so maybe they're not all Sumerians, maybe they're just animal people. And I found out no, everybody is part of this race. They're all just giant cats. So I'd say the fact that they're able to make I mean that I guess simple as oh it's a cat and then just make this whole grand thing. And all the bosses of course are different and all that kind of stuff. I feel like that itself isn't and like I said, the bosses are difficult, different in various ways. And I'm just glad that it wasn't maybe because of my Souls like experience that I felt this way, but the bosses themselves were not that hard, except boss one, which was my introduction to the game, and that just took some grinding out and everything. Boss five, I think it was five. I'm just thinking out loud. I think it was five, um, because they're going so fast that they're just doing all this damage to me. I could have like 4 heals left, and I can't use the heals, so then I just keep dying. Yeah, and then the final boss, which is not helping at all. It's just saying that the height is just Mount Everest. It's not like a it's a difficulty spike. It's just it goes straight to Mount Everest, Mount Fuji, Kilimanjaro, whatever you want to call it. Oh my god. Rest of the game, fine though. Rest of the boss is fine, but that last one. Ooh. So I would say this is a simple story, but it was told well. And before and after each boss, there's like some dialogues between all the NPCs that you've like talked to before. Like if you give them stuff, there's also like some more dialogue, and like it helps you like learn about them more and like understand like how they fit into things and everything. And then there were like a few quite a few like dialogue about bulbs and everything, just like to discuss and everything like that. And I would say just overall nice story. I actually saw someone saying, does this have too much story? And they were complaining about it, which is it's just insanity. But apparently someone was saying that this game had too much story. First of all, there's like two animated cutscenes in the game. There's like one at the beginning. I'm not gonna count that. Then one end, and then another like one that's like with like 4 or 5 seconds. There's not even subtitles because the cutscenes are so short. So I don't know what people are expecting from that, but if you are expecting that, well, like you expect like huge like roar dump all the time, you're not gonna get it. But you do like start like you get everything you need personally from my standpoint. Like I didn't expect honestly, this Metroidvania, I didn't really expect much. I think with Hollow Knight, that maybe that's because it's my experience and all that. But I just know that pretty much gave you nothing, even after you find stuff. But this one, it was like I kind of just wanted to learn more and more about what happened and what's going on and what they could do about all that. But I, I'm honestly that I feel like that's a good way to do it because you can only do the Metroidvania stuff so long. I say that as I have 60 hours in this game right now. If you like Metroidvanias, you will love this. Like, there's no bottom line. That's just it. It has a unique atmosphere, interesting story, and some fun while also rewarding combat. The combat, like I said, it's personally for me, did not drive me over the wall. If you want something very, very challenging, well, I guess Silk Song, because Silk Song is it gives you so much more options, like the point where it's ridiculous, while also being so punishing. Mhm. But I'd say if you want Metroidvanias, also check them both out. But, so yeah, but it really like, depends on like, what you're looking for in the game, like, and what you're like out there to get. Like, for example, people have called like Nine Souls a sleep hit and like really big compared to Hollow Knight. I guess a big around the time of Hollow Knight, like Silk Song and everything. And I'd say it really deserves that. Like it really it was like one of the biggest competitors. I'm pretty sure like if I knew more about Metroidvanias, I would have known this about like longer or known more about like what's going on and all that before that because I just didn't pay attention myself. And what I do love though is that this is a new IP. Like so I have a car and I have and I've been that car. I've had that car for a while. Sometimes you want fresh things. So even though your car is working perfectly, you might want to. Yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. It's just that was a stupid 1-to-1. But honestly, it's a good game. Give it a shot. Okay. What the? Oh my god. Okay. Okay.